Hoy there, it's SkywardShield. Welcome to my final mock draft. Wow, time flies. I already need to get this video up. So today, the day before the draft, you will have this video up talking about who I honestly think will go where. The last two were a bit more experimental. There's no scenarios to go. We're going off of what is here and now. So no Kaepernick going to the Broncos, because that seems unlikely. Though there is rumors on a Sam Bradford trade, I don't see that happening until either on the day of the draft or after, which I don't think it will happen at all. I don't think anyone's going to do it because that money, I don't think he wants to rework his contract, so yeah, that's going to be a problem. Anyway, I just want to say, I fucking called that. I said on my second mock draft, days before the trade happened, the Eagles would trade with the Browns. I fucking called it, and I feel so proud. Now let's see if I could convert that predicting ability onto here, at least for teams I care for, that I want to pick certain players. Like the Rams, I want them to pick the certain quarterback who I'll say in a moment. The Cowboys, the Lions, who they're not getting Vernon Hargreaves, because I will spoil you right now, he's going to go to the Buccaneers. It just seems too likely. And even if he doesn't, look how many teams could use one. Bears could, Saints could, Dolphins could, Raiders could, and the Titans. So they're probably going to do what I'm expecting them to do. And Houston, of course. Though, obviously, with time, the priorities have changed. Now the priority seems to be defensive end as the biggest need, which I only say for the sake of depth. But I understand what they're going for. But anyway, let us begin. My throat's a little sick, so I'm going to try to speak through this a little quicker than I want to, though. That won't happen at all, and you know it. Anyway, with all that in mind, let's get started. First up, the LA Rams, and who are they selecting? I've already said who they're going to get for a while now, and quite frankly, I just think it's too perfect, considering West Coast player, West Coast system. Jared Goff to the LA Rams. People are saying Carson Wentz because he's a little better. I was actually hoping he'd be a little better, just so that with the Browns you take it, but the Browns aren't taking him, and now I want him to go to the Rams. Carson Wentz could work in the Rams, but I think Goff has a little more potential than than Carson Wentz. Though I will say, if Goff went to Dallas, it would have been too perfect. It would have been a beautiful connection, and I could see him becoming a star after Romo was gone. Anyway, with the second overall pick, the Eagles, who, even though this is their biggest priority, they need running back, guards, and offensive tackles. So you can kind of see that O as a D. Anyway, so with that in mind, I have them getting the other quarterback, Carson Wentz. It can go either way. If Carson Wentz goes to the Rams, then Goff goes to the Eagles. So we'll see. They're both gonna have to. Basically, the Rams have control of this. So, and not like the Eagles could have done anything entirely. So anyway, next up, the San Diego Chargers. Now the Chargers, people have been linking Jalen Ramsey to them because even though they don't need it, he is considered the most athletic player in the draft, and I understand that. But I'm thinking, you know what? Here's the thing. People said the first two picks, like the Browns, would have shaped out the draft. Not anymore. It's the Chargers. The Chargers are the real first overall pick because you know the first two are getting quarterbacks. Why else would you trade up there? It's like if we knew J.J. Watt was going to be this legendary, I wouldn't have been. That would have been like the only exception that people would trade up to the first spot in the draft to get him, because you know you're getting a defensive end who could be the GOAT, who I think he's the GOAT. But that's not the point. So the Chargers have all this talent of non-quarterbacks to choose from. So I think because of that, they could be trading with another team. They can get a lot of picks, because this is essentially what I said, the true first-round pick. But I think the Chargers are going to focus on their needs. And with that said, I see them getting defensive end DeForest Buckner. You could say they should get Joey Bosa, but I don't think Joey Bosa will be fitting in their system, whereas DeForest Buckner might be better for them. I think he's the better player than Bosa anyway. So, next in line are the Dallas Cowboys. Oh my god, I keep hearing more, and I just think this is just the media shrilling up the Cowboys' offense. It's like, and I forget his name. I forget his name. Let me try to remember it. I think his name was Mike Mayock, and he was saying that they should get get Ezekiel Elliott so they could be like the 2014 Cowboys, because everyone wants to live that era where the Cowboys offense was as dynamic as the old days in the 90s, because only real 90s kids remember. But I think that's stupid. Yes, you'll have an amazing offense, but you're going to be playing against great defenses in the playoffs, because you could, in the regular season, you're going to be playing all kinds of teams. Sure, you're probably going to play a great team, but look at how many look how many playoff teams the Cowboys are playing this season. I mean, technically the Washington football team counts as one, even though they're terrible. You have the Green Bay Packers, you have the Minnesota Vikings, and on the AFC side, you have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals, 5 playoff teams. Okay, yeah, you might beat one of them, you might beat 2 of them. You might beat the Washington football team twice. But when you go to the playoffs, you're going to be playing great defenses like the Seattle defense, the Carolina defense, or even the Lions defense if they're that good. Which I can see the Lions being really a defensive piece away from being a good defensive team again. But I digress. It's like, yes, you need offense, but here's the thing. Here's the fucking thing, and I just want to rant about this one more time before I just put it to rest, because I'm not doing another mock draft, obviously. So, and depending on if the Cowboys actually pick Ezekiel Elliott, because this is what they've gotten themselves chosen to, Ezekiel Elliott or Jalen Ramsey. In this scenario, they're going to have both. But if the Chargers take, if they don't take DeForest Buckner or anybody else and take Jalen Ramsey, then they are going to go Ezekiel Elliott, because that's who they want. This is pretty much what they said. Jerry Jones, I swear to God, if you choose Ezekiel Elliott, even if both of them are there, I want to punch you in the throat and say never speak again, because you want to mask the defense? No, make the defense good. Your line can put some pressure, and that's good, but now you need to get a cornerback. You need a corner to block those great wide receivers, because look who you're going to play this year. I mean, you don't have Megatron to worry about now that he's retired, but you're still going to have to go up against Jordy Nelson, Antonio Brown, A.J. Green, Deshaun Jackson, and Odell Beckham, who I still think is overrated, but he has shown some skill. So you're going to be going up against great wide receivers. You need a corner. You need this guy to play great for you, which he will. He is looking really good. He is the starter ready. And you want to mask the defense, but my point was, if you're trying to, even if you make this great offense and you run into a great defense that blocks the offense, because you will run into one of those sooner or later, then your defense has to win for you. And this defense isn't at the very least a turnover team. They are not even a good turnover team. So why cover up the weakness? Why not try to help it? This is a very defensive-rich draft. I don't even like if they get Bosa, but if they get Bosa, it's like, hey, you addressed an actual need, because you don't need a running back. You have Alfred Morris, Lance Dunbar, and Darren McFadden. I'm treating Darren McFadden like a fluke. And one argument I heard one of these pundits say in the NFL media, like, oh, he got 1,000 yards, but only 3 touchdowns. I'll tell you why they got 3 touchdowns, because that was a crap team. That team without Romo was trash. And I even argued with Cowboys fans, and I don't care. They're wrong. That team without Romo, or without a good enough quarterback, I should be saying, is beyond redemption. You saw them squeak 1 win out of that. They were without Romo. They're a 2-12 team because their defense can't do enough. The difference between Houston and Dallas, a tale of 2 Texas cities. One had a great offense but no defense, but one had a great defense but an okay offense. But I would actually say, if not for Hopkins, that would be one of the worst offenses in the league. But you see, the defense matters more, and as much as I shame Houston for keep going defense, which they might just go defense this round too, depending on how the draft goes, they at least have good players on defense to turn the ball over and give the offense an easy shot. Like, oh, if I turn the ball over and we're on the opponent's 10-yard line, that's easy. We're going to get at least 3 points, or we can get 10 or 7 points easy. But anyway, yeah, sorry for the rant. I just want to get it out of my system. Last piece of note in regards to this: Cowboys don't need to work on offense anymore. They don't need to work on offense. Maybe get a wide receiver for the sake of depth, like a third or fourth round wide receiver. But in this draft, this defensive-rich draft, you need to get pieces. Like, if I could choose their rounds, I would choose cornerback, quarterback, then defensive end, and then an inside linebacker, a wide receiver. That's how I would pick their drafts by rounds. So for this one, I'm saying they're getting Jalen Ramsey if he's there, and if not, get your DeForest Buckner or Joey Bosa. Get a defensive player. That's all I ask for. That's all I want. Okay, so with that rant out of the way, I see the Jaguars who need a linebacker. You might be thinking, oh, they're going to get Miles Jack. No, they're going to go Leonard Floyd. I'll tell you why in a minute when Miles Jack himself comes off the board. Just there's a reason why, if you've heard anything about Miles Jack, there's a big reason that, yeah, he's high in terms of rankings for talent, but he's got a huge risk factor that's bothering him. Akin to Todd Gurley, but for him it just hasn't happened again yet. But I think Todd Gurley was able to go past it, because he was in the recovering phase already. This guy is like a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. So anyway, next are the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens could use a lineman, and I see them getting their lineman addressed with Laramie Tunsil, the best lineman in this draft, going 6, which is surprising. Any other mock draft would probably say if it was the normal draft before these trades happened, I guarantee you he would have gone within the first 5 rounds. Oh yeah, same thing with Dallas. If you draft Laramie Tunsil, I will punch Jerry Jones to the throat, because you don't need another lineman. You need a defensive lineman, but not an offensive lineman. Because I swear, the media is trying to make the Cowboys think offense, because we want these high-octane offense, especially for the Cowboys, to score touchdown after touchdown after touchdown, because that's so good and good for our ratings. Shut the hell up. I want a team that can actually win the damn thing. I want my Houston-Dallas Super Bowl this year, and it doesn't look like it'll happen, but if they could go defense, then I could damn well start believing in that just a little bit. 49ers up next. They need a lot of help. They need a quarterback, they need an inside linebacker, and a tackle. Now, who are they going to go for in this one? I see them going for okay, I have them going for they're going to be going for an offensive tackle as well to rebuild that line, and they will be taking offensive tackle Ronnie Stanley. They're going to have to rebuild the great offensive line they had, like in the Harbaugh days, because everyone and their mother left the 49ers group. Rightfully so, because their organization is chaotic. Anyway, next, the Cleveland Browns, who traded with the Philadelphia Eagles. They could go QB right now, but honestly, when you're this high up in the draft, you want to get someone like Paxton Lynch, who's like a second-round pick. Hell no, are you stupid? That's a waste of time. Unless you trade down, of course. Like, if you trade down and get more picks, that would be great. And in fact, out of all these teams here that would trade down, I could see the Browns doing it again. So they stack mid-round picks. So anyway, with that in mind, I would say they trade, but in this case they won't. I see them going for defensive end, Joey Bosa. Get a defensive player, start pressuring the quarterback so that way the defense could do some work instead of just hoping to God the offense can squeeze out a win. Anyway, next up, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers are going to go for corner. They will take Vernon Hargreaves, and that eliminates my Lions' hopes, but I knew it was coming. It's just too realistic, as like I said at the beginning, too many hurdles. It's just way too many hurdles for the Lions to climb, and they're not going to trade up. They'd rather trade down a bit like last year. Anyway, the New York Giants, they could use some help. I see them getting, I see them going for outside linebacker Miles Jack. Now, the reason why he's dropped so low when he's like an early first-round talent is because he has a bit of an risk with an injury, and that it's something involving his knee, and this is what's really made him lose a lot of interest from like the top 6 teams. So I see him dropping all the way to number 10, and if it ain't there, it's gonna be if he's not taken by the Giants, he's gonna be taken by the Bears or the Saints. I guarantee that. So next up on the list is the Chicago Bears, and the Chicago Bears are going to replace Matt Forte with someone else, Ezekiel Elliott. At long last, Ezekiel Elliott goes at 11. He drops this far. Replace Forte with running back, and now you have a solid offense. Their defense is sneaky. It can be sneaky. It needs work, but you know what? You could address that in the later rounds. So next up, we have the New Orleans Saints, and I see them going for outside linebacker Jalen Smith. This will help with their quarterback, or with their pressuring the quarterback issue, but he'll, of course, linebackers do a bit of everything. Then they could use any help they get. If it ain't him, it's A'Shawn Robinson I'd see them getting, but I think they're going to lean towards the linebacker course side more for now. Next, the Miami Dolphins, who, quite frankly, they could use a corner, but he's gone. So they have to settle for someone else. I see them protecting Andy Dalton, is what I've always been saying, and I think over all 3 mock drafts I've had Jack Conklin going here. If it wasn't him, it'd be like Stanley or something. But I'm pretty sure it's been him. Next, the Oakland Raiders. Oh, and the Dolphins, still chaotic organization. In my second mock draft, one guy, he got like Finn's Nation or something is what his YouTube name was. He got mad at me. It's like, oh, the salt. You know it's true. Anyway, the Oakland Raiders. The Oakland Raiders need help to replace the great Justin Tuck and Charles Woodson, which you can't get a corner anymore, but you can at least try to settle the linebacker part. So I see Reggie Ragland going to the Oakland Raiders, and that defense is going to be great again. No Donald Trump jokes here. Not in this video. Not in my house. I think the Raiders are going to be a sneaky team who I actually see going to the playoffs this year. How far they go, that's up for debate. But I can see them winning a game. How far? But I don't see them win the next one, especially if they play a team like the Patriots or something. Also, fuck Roger Goodell. I just wanted to put that out there. Since we're talking Patriots and NFL, fuck Roger Goodell. May you burn in hell and lose your job. Next up, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans need a lot of help. They could use help with the line. They could use help with the they could use help with defense, with everything. So who could they go for? Honestly, I see them going for I see them going for a defensive tackle. In Robert, I got his last name now, Nkemdiche. I find after two mock drafts or 3 now, I finally got his name. Robert Nkemdiche. He will be stopping the run, considering you're going to be going up against run-heavy teams like the Texans. Anyway, so in fact, they're also another team I could see trading down more. How much, I don't know. Next up, the Detroit Lions. I see them going for A'Shawn Robinson. Why? It's my theory from before. You have Haloti Ngata, who's going to be starting, obviously, but then you'll have A'Shawn Robinson, who'll be learning from him, and he'll still be good. So it's like, oh, Haloti Ngata's too tired, switch him out. Who do we got? We have our first-round pick coming in to take his place. And he will be good for them, trust me, because he'll learn some things from Haloti Ngata, and when Haloti Ngata goes out, this guy's going to be just as bad, if not worse. And when I say just as bad, I mean obviously good bad, but also he's going to be about a bad boy as Haloti Ngata was back in his day with the Ravens. So yeah, something to consider. Watch out if their defense, if the Detroit Lions defense clicks just as much, if Matthew Stafford can get over the loss of Calvin Johnson, which I think he will. I mean, this wouldn't be the first time he played games without him. Watch out for the Lions. Sneaky team, because I could easily see 3 NFC North teams in the Packers, Lions, and Vikings in no particular order going in the playoffs. Their schedules are just too easy. Next up, the Atlanta Falcons. At number 17, I see them going defensive end. Kevin Dodd. My throat's starting to kill me. Defensive end, because they need to pressure the quarterback, because their defense needs a lot of work. They are one of the glass cannon teams. Speaking of glass cannon, we have the Colts, who should go defense, but they won't, because they're like the AFC Cowboys, offense. But that's because they're stuck in the days of Peyton Manning being there. Then, of course, they kicked him out because they're like, oh, you hurt yourself? Fuck off. Bye. But hey, he won a Super Bowl without you guys, so he gets the last laugh. So yeah, they're going to go Cody Whitehair for offense. They have to get an offensive lineman to protect Andrew Luck. I don't know how much of this will help, but hey. As long as they don't go defense, I know how to completely destroy the Colts. They are not going to last with their coach. With, what's his name? I forget his name, but he'll be gone in no time. Next up, the Buffalo Bills. I see them going, just as I've said many times, I see them taking the first wide receiver off the board. Will Fuller. With that guy, he will be going next to Sammy Watkins, and that will rebuild their offense to be great because their defense is suitable, but I think they'll be addressing that shit later. So, next in line, the New York Jets. Surprise, surprise, by the way, Laquan Treadwell has lasted this long. I actually had an idea of him going to the Rams, but the Rams traded up, and then the Eagles traded up. I could see the Giants taking him. I could also see the Lions taking him, which they might do that. But that's just because of the lack of Megatron. But anyway, so it's because of these trades that Laquan Treadwell has lasted this long. Next up, the New York Jets. The New York Jets, I see them needing... They need a tight end, they need a linebacker, they also need an offensive line. Outside linebacker, tight end, and offensive line. So who would they get? I've had them 3 times in a row going for tight end. And you know what, guys? I still do. Henry Hunter. If he don't go here, he'll go to the Texans, I think. They need a tight end just for the sake of having another threat, which will make, like I've said many times, Fitzpatrick come back. If not, they'll just have another quarterback take his place. Everyone's saying Brian Hoyer might go there, but I don't think he will. I mean, Fitzpatrick was lucky considering he knew how that system worked from before. Next up, the Washington football team. I have them getting defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins. So now this gets interesting. I actually had them going a wide receiver in one of my mock drafts, I believe. I don't know if that was one of them that I scrapped. But here's the thing for the Texans. What Bill O'Brien said has worried me a little. Which, at one hand, this won't be bad either way, but I'm thinking in terms of what would fit this offense right. Laquan Treadwell is considered one of the best wide receivers. If not him, then it's Will Fuller. Well, Will Fuller's gone. We've only one wide receiver in the past 20 rounds. It is going to be interesting. Who would the Texans get? Corey Coleman or Laquan Treadwell? Or will they go defensive end and take someone like Shaq Lawson? Oh, Bill O'Brien said he's going to get whoever's on top of the board. Like, they have a list of players and they rank them. And whoever's the highest, like, best player available, basically. That's what they're going. Best player available. So something tells me they might go Shaq Lawson or Laquan Treadwell. But I'm holding my breath here and hoping they take Corey Coleman. And that maybe Laquan Treadwell gets taken by another team. Corey Coleman would fit because you already have 2 wide receivers. But if you take another one, that's fine. But I will not be surprised if they take someone else. Because whatever high talented player is still on this list, like say someone that should have dropped or that shouldn't have dropped, like, I don't know, let's say, I can't think of a player who would be, like, let's say Ashawn Robinson dropped this far down. They'll take him because he's supposed to go around here. But if he dropped to the Texans, they'll take him. That's basically what they're doing. Anyway, the Minnesota Vikings are next. Because now you saw a bunch of offensive players, minus Sheldon Rankins, go off the board. Well, guess what? Here comes another wide receiver. Laquan Treadwell is going to go to the Vikings because they need the best wide receiver. In fact, it would not surprise me if the Vikings traded up to the Washington football team spot or the Jets spot to take Laquan Treadwell away for the Texans. I could see that happening, and honestly, if they do that to get Laquan Treadwell or Will Fuller, fine by me, because that makes it easier for the Texans to get Corey Coleman. Next up, the Bengals. The Bengals could use wide receiver help because of who they lost. They lost Mohamed Sanu and I think it's is his name Chris Jones? No, I forget his name. You know, the one that went to the Lions. Anyway, I see them getting Sterling Shepard, not Josh Doxson, but Sterling Shepard. He's going to go along AJ Green, and I think that could fit very well. Next up, the Pittsburgh Steelers. They could use some defensive help or defensive back help, and who will they be taking? I have them taking Eli Apple. Cornerback. I think it might fit well, hopefully for them, because they need help on secondary. I mean, after you ran out Ike Taylor and Troy Polamalu, you really need to fix that stuff. Anyway, next, yeah, my voice is giving out, and I'm talking a little slower. Seattle Seahawks could use help with a lineman. I have them getting Raven Clark. Any lineman will do, to be honest. I just think it could go the long way for them, because sure, Russell Wilson can run, but do you want to keep making him run? It wouldn't be a good idea. Okay, so next up, the Green Bay Packers. They're going to go Darren Lee, outside linebacker, because they need a linebacker that will replace Julius Peppers. Because sure, he's been doing great considering his age, but sooner or later he's falling off that cliff. He's going to be falling off that cliff and needs to be replaced because he's getting old. But we'll see. Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs. With surprise, surprise, they see a wide receiver that didn't get taken sooner. They'll be taking him in Josh Doxson. So there goes like all the first round players or first round or wide receivers you could see going in the first round. So he's gone. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals. Arizona Cardinals need help with safety, linebacker, and corner. Now, corner, I don't think they'd take Mackenzie Alexander, though they could at the same time. Or William Jackson, actually, he's the only reason they went to the University of Houston, or our team started coming to see him. Anyway, I see them going for a linebacker. I see them going for Sua Cravens. Though really, it would not surprise me if they take a defensive tackle like Shaq Lawson. I think they might. Actually, you know what? I'm going to change that because, yeah, I would like them to go linebacker to fill the need, but when I remember my first pick, it's because I thought they could use someone to pressure the quarterback. That's what I was saying. They need a person to pressure the quarterback for them to be a good team. Yeah, and they already have, what's the name of that guy they traded from the Patriots for a second-round pick? I forget his name. So, yeah, they won't need a linebacker anymore, really. I see them take it Shaq Lawson. Yeah, sorry about that. May edit that out, though I don't think I will. I will forget to, especially since I'm in a rush. Next up, the Carolina Panthers. Panthers guy, I don't know. I'm honestly unsure about who I could see them going for, because they need anything on defense, like a defensive end or a defensive back. An offensive lineman, which I don't think they're gonna go for, to be honest. Though I want them to get a wide receiver, but I just don't know if they will. That's the thing. But now that I think about it, I will give them a running back, but only because this guy didn't go to like my last mock draft. He didn't go to the Packers, and this one, he's going to the Panthers. Derrick Henry, a running back to replace Jonathan Stewart, who is going to get injured a lot, so Derrick Henry's number may be called more often than you think. But we'll see. Next, the Super Bowl champions, the Broncos. I see them going for Paxton Lynch. They need a quarterback because Mark Sanchez will not be the guy. And yeah, sorry, I wish I could talk a little more, but now my throat's still killing me. So let's go in order. Jared Goff to the Rams, Carson Wentz to the Eagles, DeForest Buckner to the Chargers, Jalen Ramsey to the Cowboys. Don't you dare go offense, Dallas. Leonard Floyd to the Jaguars, Laramie Tunsil to the Ravens, Ronnie Stanley to the 49ers, Joey Bosa to the Browns, Vernon Hargreaves to the Buccaneers, Miles Jack to the Giants, Ezekiel Elliott to the Bears, Jalen Smith to the Saints, Jack Conklin to the Dolphins, Reggie Ragland to the Oakland Raiders, Robert Nkemdiche, yep, got his name, Tennessee Titans, Ashawn Robinson to the Lions, Kevin Dodd to the Falcons, Cody Whitehair to the Colts, Will Fuller to the Bills, Henry Hunter, or Hunter Henry. Wow, that's a great name, now that I think about it, because that's his first name. Hunter is his first name. Oh, I'm gonna like him if he gets drafted by Houston, especially. Sheldon Rankins to the Washington football team, Corey Coleman to the Texans, Laquan Treadwell to the Vikings, Sterling Shepard to the Bengals, Eli Apple to the Steelers, LaRaven Clark to the Seahawks, Darren Lee to the Packers, Josh Doxson to the Chiefs, Shaq Lawson to the Ravens, the Cardinals, Derrick Henry to the Panthers, and Paxton Lynch to the Broncos. For my tiebreaker, if I have to determine time, this is going to take 4 hours and 35 minutes. Anyway, that'll do it. Yeah, this took a while, but anyway, yes, we have my final mock draft. You'll be seeing this up the day before the draft. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the draft, and I'm hoping these go according to plan mostly, which we know they won't. Anyway, so yeah, I will see you guys in another video.